What's going on, people? Trev 2323 here again. I'm gonna do a little video. It's gonna be a two-part video. I'm gonna mount a regular car tire. Let's see what we got here. It's a 15-inch, goes on a 2007 Ford Focus. Yeah, you go to Walmart and have them, mounted and balanced and all that for normally it's like 57 bucks or whatever, but then by the time they finish with it's like $75, $80, because they say, well, we need the tire stem, the disposal fee, the what else is there, the lifetime balancing, the lifetime this. I said, you know what, I said, just give me the tire and I'll put it on myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount that. It's a 15-inch going on a 07 Ford Focus, and I bought this one right here for my trailer. My trailer tire is completely uneven, worn out. This was a spare, actually, not the one on the trailer. So what I'm going to do is change it out. I'm going to put the trailer tire, switch out that bad tire, get rid of it, put the new tire on here, and then put the new tire on the trailer, and then take that rim off and switch another one. But I'm just going to show you how to mount and demount all of them. I got my heavy hitter here, my bead blaster if I need it, but I don't think I'm going to need it. One thing with the bead blaster is you're supposed to have like 60 to 80 psi or whatever in the bead blaster, and I got a Harbor Freight 125 psi 5 horsepower compressor, and it won't fill up the pressure that bead blaster says it needs, but it does put like 50 pounds of pressure in the bead blaster, and it really lets out a whole blast of air. So I believe that's enough pressure that it needs. I do got an Atlas tire machine, an Atlas wheel balancer, and my big compressor's in the house right now because I was using it doing some work in the house. So I got a little old compressor in the garage, and that's what I'm going to use right now. I'll show you that one too. All right, bye. I don't know if you can see it or hear me, but that's my old compressor right there, and that's what I'm using to fill up the tank. It's like a 20-gallon compressor, and it's older than I don't know what. I got a newer one, but there's my Atlas right there, my TC589. I'll explain a little bit more when the compressor shuts off. Alright, we're gonna take off the back tire on the driver's side. So we're gonna block off the passenger side tire. AC Delco sells these little wheel chocks like this right here. They fold away really good. They got a little, in case you're using them on the back, a little reflector. But you gotta block the front tire because you don't want, when you jack it up, you don't want the car just rolling anywhere. So we're gonna do the back tire. All the tires are brand new on it except the back. So this is the one that we're gonna replace right now. I got a 3-ton jack that we're gonna put on, but I always say use a jack stand when you're done. But what you gotta do is, before you jack it up, make sure you break the lug nuts a little bit loose and then jack it up. This is just basic stuff, but I'm gonna show you how to do the tires also. Okay, here's my Atlas. What I did before I use it, I don't use it too often. I really don't. I sprayed it with PB Blast just so it could run smoother when it opens and closes. And one thing with mine, I have the big tank on the back for the air blast, the bead blaster. But if you see this side's taken apart because the bead blaster really didn't work. It didn't work good. So actually I just bought a bead blaster for myself. There's no air in it right now because to fill up this, to get it started, so there should be no pressure down there. There's none. To get it started filling up, if I just leave the compressor going, it will not fill up with air. It'll just completely leak out. You have to have pressure in the tank, and then it shoots it in there, and then it'll keep filling the tank all the way up. See, there's pressure in it now, so now it'll keep filling the tank all the way up. This is the brush that I have for the bead to lube up the bead, but I don't fill it up all the way. I got rimmies, but I just use it little by little when I need it, because if you just fill that up, believe me, it'll dry out really fast. The basics on your tire machine is the first step right here to break the bead with the arm right there. But on top of this, I have the old school one, the metal one, that I could do it manually if I need to. This right here is to open and close the arms, and this right here is to spin it to make the wheel come off. So either way it goes, I'll show you how to use it in a little bit. We're taking the tire off the car now, and I'm gonna have to wait for my tank to fill completely up again, because they gotta fill. Now it's filling up the tank in the back there, the tank over there, and when you break the bead, it does use a lot of air. So it's gonna be filling up. So I don't know if you can hear me, And after we put it on, I'll show you how to balance it. I got a wheel balancer also. I'm in my little garage, but I got my swimming pool stuff in the garage. I got my scooter in the garage, fishing stuff in the garage. So it's kind of packed in here, so bear with me. All right, be right back. Okay, my son over here already, I'm shooting a video and he's already taking my tire off for me. I got a 3-ton jack. I mean, when I work on stuff, I want to be secure. But when we take it off, you can leave it on the jack, or you can put the jack stand. Like I tell my son, we're always going to put the jack stand on. But we'll put the jack stand on when the tire comes off. But we're going to have to take the air pressure out of the tire. We're going to have to take the weights off of the tire so it can spin freely on the machine. And then, you know, people, before they take the weights off, they mark the tire so they can know they can put it, you know, put the same tire back on. But we're putting a different tire on, so we're going to have to balance the tire on it, you know, balance it. So we're just going to take it off. All right, so we're going to take this off now and take the air out right now. All right, now there's a center cap in there. So you can't have the center cap on when you're going to put it on the machine. So get the back end of a mallet or whatever and pop the center cap out from the back. Okay, what we're going to do on that also is put some WD-40 before we put it back on to prevent some of the rust. Now we're going to take the cap off of the air pressure thing, and there's little tools like this. There's actually bigger ones. I had a bigger, nicer one, but I can't find it, so we're going to use this right now because there's a screw and this sits right in there, and you just take the stem out. You hear the air coming out already? Alright, well, I dropped it right off, but I have plenty of extra ones, but there it is right there. That just screw out and let all the air out the tire. Put everything else underneath the tire right there. Put it like right there on the side so we don't lose it. And then with it, once the air is out the tire, we got to take off the weights, and then we're going to break the bead. Okay, this tool I got right here is the tool to take the weights off of the tire. There's one end to put it on and one end to take the weights off of the tire. It clips on the weight. I can't do it one hand. See if you get it. It clips on, it hooks onto the little empty part of the weight where there's nothing there, and then you squeeze it and pull it off, and it pulls the weight right off there for you. But you got to take the weights off so they don't snag on the machine. There's one right here, another one on the back. And we're replacing the tire, so we're gonna have to rebalance it anyways. Can't get a good grip on that one. There you go. Alright, there's the weights right there, and now we're gonna go break the bead. Okay, it's kind of dark here, but I have the rubber piece right here is what one tire goes up to, and then the other piece goes kind of right by the rim. And sometimes you gotta do it a couple times for it to grab the rim, especially if there's a bead sealer on it. But this is how you break the bead. Hold this over here, like, get on this side over here so you see if you can get it balanced. I don't know if we're gonna squeeze. We'll squeeze right here. There you go. Bob's your uncle. You gotta do this, but you gotta do the backside also. You gotta break the bead off the backside. Now Harbor Freight does sell a manual bead breaker, and I have that one also. But this one's working alright right now. There. Beads off. Alright, put the tire on the machine itself. And then you clamp it first. Look at the bottom right here. With this right here, once there's air in it, you can hit the button and it grabs the rim from the bottom. So the rim's kind of snug in there really good. The bead's taken off. Let me get the bead off a little better. Make sure the bead is off all the way. I should have made sure it was off all the way before I put it on the machine. These are 60 series tires, so they are pretty tight. You put the, well, let me put some, this is rim ease, but if you don't got rim ease, what you can use is laundry soap. If you use laundry soap and water, it works just as good as rim ease. And make sure you do the machine also, because it's going to have to come up over the machine. Set the machine down and you lock it in place. Then you got to get the crowbar. Now these right here are cheapy crowbars. I would always recommend, and actually I got to get a better crowbar. That wrong button. Hold on. I got to get a better crowbar because I bent one of these actually. Now this right here is actually to put it back on, and this right here is to get it off. You got to get it in between there, push down on the other side, and lift up. But don't try to just hit it really fast to get it off, because sometimes it sticks a little bit. You got to make sure you got enough lube on there in order to get it all the way off. See, it's off right there? To get the bottom one off, it's really tricky. Look at, there's the green stuff is the actual slime stuff. But to get the bottom one off, it's a little bit trickier because you got to have the back of it. You got to play around with it to get the back of it lifted in order for it to get off. So you might have to give it a couple tries in order to get it lifted up like that. But then once it's like, oh, I hit the wrong button. I got to get the rim tightened again. All right, there it goes. And Bob's your uncle. So with the Atlas tire machine, you gotta lift this up in order to get it out. Watch it so you don't hit yourself in the head. I hit my head on that a couple times. All right, one thing that we gotta do once you have it off is you gotta try to get this as clean as possible, especially the lip of it right here. But I'm gonna wipe all the slime off, and then I'm probably just gonna use a wire brush. This don't look that bad where I need a grinder. I'll probably just use a wire brush to get some of that off. So I'm gonna let my son rub that off right there. Get that as clean as he can. I'm looking around because I used to have a grinder, but I haven't used it in a while. So he's cleaned that off, but if not, I'm gonna go get a wire brush so we can wire brush that off. And you want this as smooth as possible. Some people use grinders and grind them really good, but I don't like taking that much metal off. As long as they're clean, even sandpaper, then you just blow it off, it'll be pretty good. Alright, what I'm using is, I'm going to have to buy another one anyways, is this is just a barbecue grill brush. And you see, it's getting off all the old rubber that was dried on there and the bead seal. So, or you could use sandpaper also if you need to use sandpaper, but try to get that as smooth as possible, but that seems to be working really good. Believe it or not, if I leave it just like this and I put a bead sealer on it, it'll work. So let me get this cleaned up. And also when you're scraping the top right here, don't mess up the wheel stem if it was not leaking. If the wheel stem was leaking, what you got to do is you just cut it off with a razor blade and pull it out the back and set a new one in there. But we're not going to do that right now because it wasn't leaking. So we're going to get this rim cleaned off and then I'll be right back. Alright, my son's cleaning off the rim. So this right here, I'm just going to peel this off right here. This is actually ready to go on. Some tires you got to look because they're directional tires. But this one isn't a directional tire. This uses a basic tire. It's a Douglas from Walmart. Bare basic tire, 30,000 mile warranty I think. But you got to lube it up really good to put it on. Another thing you have to check for, if it's directional, it'll say, and you got to kind of figure out how it's going to look on your car and make sure the arrow are going the direction. And sometimes they have white wall and black wall. So we're going to go ahead, and this is all black wall, so it's not going to matter. And sometimes with these right here, this is why I put bead sealer on, because these things suck. Sometimes with these labels, it does leak right there. I don't know if I can get that one off. But these things right here with where the label's at, sometimes when you seal the tire, this right here doesn't freaking seal. So we're going to put bead sealer all around that. Okay, my son got the tire ready. And this is catch-22 also, what confuses me sometimes. You got to lube the tire to get the tire on there, right? You got to lube the tire all around here and all around there because you need it greasy to get it on there. But then to put the bead sealer, some people put the bead sealer on there first and then set it. So I don't do that. I put the lube on there first because you don't want to mess up this bead. If you got this dry going on there and you mess up this bead, you're probably going to get a leak anyways. So this is going to be on top, so I know I could reach the bead sealer first. But the bottom one, you could put the bead sealer on right now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the bead sealer on the top and the bottom this time around. All right, be right back. Well, here, hold this, Bob. Oh, make sure you get it right there. Okay. Well, I haven't used this can, so I had to go get a damn pair of pliers to open the top with. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put the bead sealer on the bottom right now. I'll put a thick coat of bead sealer on the bottom and from underneath, and then I'll put the dang soap on the tire itself. So this is going to be sealed with a bead sealer. And actually, if there's a good clean fit right here, that it's a newer rim, you probably wouldn't even need the bead sealer. but I always do it just in case, because when the tire's on, I don't want to have any troubles with leaks or anything like that. And we don't do this too often, especially my garage isn't heated, so with these tire machines, you're not even supposed to use them in I think it's 45 degrees or colder, because you're going to mess up the hoses on them. And I found that out the hard way because I used it in 45 degrees or colder. Okay, this right here. Oh man, I got some on the rim. I have to get that off the rim. It's like I said, the catch-22, because you're lubing this, but you're putting a bead sealer on that. But with this right here, you have to have it lubed really good, because you don't want to tear this bead. If you tear this bead, the tire is as good as, you know, no good. The back one is easy to put on, because the back one is kind of like, I just made myself a liar, right? But it's easy to get on normally. This is a 60 series. If it were a bigger one, like 65 series, it'll be easier to get on. So I'm probably going to wind up putting that one on with the machine too right now. Okay. And all you do is you put it down like you're going to put it on, and you got to keep it down, and it'll put it on the machines. That was easier like that. Now this right here, here's the trick. What I got. This right here. I got this. You need one end of the tire below the bead. So what I do with this is this hooks on right here, and it keeps the tire below the bead. And that right there, believe it or not, I got for Harbor Freight for $5. And see how easy that was to get on? Put this back up, make sure you don't hit yourself in the head. And now this sits really good where it should fill up with air on its own. Get your stem ready. And what I'm going to try to do is just fill it up on its own. And if it don't pop, then I'm going to have to set the bead with a bead setter. So, see, already it's holding air, so that's good. I don't need to use the bead seater for this. Watch yourself, don't scare yourself, because it is going to pop somewhere at some point. Okay, now that it's set, I'm going to take this off and put the clip in it, screw it back in. That's screwed in. I'm going to fill it back up. After it pops is when I'm going to loosen it up. It's filling up right now. It got 20 pounds of pressure and still hasn't popped yet. I'm trying to get it to pop. I don't want to really go over 35 pounds of pressure, because then I start to get worried that the tire's going to pop the wrong way. 30 pounds of pressure, still hasn't popped, so I'm going to get a mallet and hit it around, see if I can get it to pop. Okay, I'm glad it was recording because my son's laughing his ass off. I just took the mallet and I hit around the tire and it popped to seal all the way around and scared the shit out of me. But if it's still cockeyed and you're at like 30 pounds of pressure, start hitting it with a mallet. Just tap it around with a mallet and it'll pop, because if you're at 36 pounds, you don't want the tire to explode the wrong way and really hurt you. So now I can finish filling it up. Okay, now that the bead's sealed also, I'm going to loosen the tire. Now the tire's not on the machine anymore. That's a 30, I'm going to put 35 pounds in it, I believe. It says that the tire was called for, but some of the tires say it can go up to 44 pounds. But I don't fill it all the way to 44 pounds. You can look in the door frame of the car and it'll say what the spec is. Yeah, this says max 44 PSI, but there's 36 PSI in it right now. Do you have the cap or no pop?
No, it's outside.
It's outside? Okay. Alright, the cap's outside, so I'm going to pause that right there. That's the end of that video mounting this. It's on, it's sealed and everything. I'll show you how to check if it's leaking later, but I'm going to do another video of using the balancer.